Hello everyone, this is my first knitting podcast and I thank you all for joining me and thank you for giving me a chance. This is my first knitting podcast, so it might not be the greatest because I'm still a little nervous, so bear with me. And you can find me at Little HK Knits on YouTube, and that is also on my Instagram name, and Knitting by Hilary on Ravelry. And my name is Hilary, and again, thank you for joining me. And I have been knitting for 6 years, and I have loved every second of it. And I guess a little bit about me is that I am a sophomore in college, and I am going to school to be an elementary school teacher with a minor in art and math. Yes, I know that's kind of strange because there's math is the one where you always want one answer, and then art is there's no right answer, so I'm a bit strange for that, but I like it, so it works. And I guess the story behind my my YouTube name, Little HK Knits, is in my family. I was named after, well, actually no, I wasn't named after my grandfather. My parents realized that after they had named me that I had the same initials as both of my grandparents, and I had the same exact initials as my grandfather, so his initials were H-E-K and mine are H-E-K. And my grandma, she had H-K, so we always called her Big H-K because she was older, and then I was Little H-K because I was younger. And yeah, so that kind of carried it through my entire life, and I just thought I would make that my cute little YouTube name because to keep that tradition going, because she is no longer with us, but just to keep her in our memories and just to keep that legacy going. And I guess going into the Ravelry page, I am still fairly new to Ravelry, so I just figured out how to put the projects on there, so bear with me if there's not a bunch of like chatting threads, because I don't know how to do that yet. So if any of you know how to do that, feel free to comment in the comment section below, or contact me on Ravelry or anything like that, and I would appreciate the help. So thank you in advance. And I guess I have no finished objects because those are all at home. Oh wait, I do have one. I have one tube sock, my first official sock, but I call this the cheater's sock because I had started it as a 4-H project, and for the 4-H fair that was at the end of July, and I'd started it about the middle of June, and I had never made a sock before, so it was I kind of procrastinated a little bit, and I didn't anticipate how hard it would be, and lo and behold, it was pretty hard. So I just kind of like put the project down for a little bit, and I like worked on something else, and then I came back to it about a month later, and then I came up with the pattern after watching I forget whose knitting podcast it was, but they had made tube socks. And I'm like, oh, well, that'd be interesting because they're like very easy to make because all you do is just keep knitting in a circle. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. And then you don't have to do the heel flap and I forget what other thing it's called. But my goal is to make an actual pair of socks after I finish this pair. So hopefully it'll all go well. I hope. And I guess since that is my only finished object, I will go into my works in progress, which there are 3 of them, so that's not too many. Okay, so my first works in progress is the rainbow knit-along scarf for the Knitting X-Pact podcast with Mina, and she's hosting the rainbow knit-along, so I was like, oh, perfect, so this will be my first knit-along. So I'm very excited. Hopefully I can get this scarf done in time because I am not very far on it. but hopefully, since I have a lot of traveling that I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weekends, so that should be some good car time knitting. And yeah, oh, and I guess I should say the needle size that I'm using for this is size 7, and I'm using the Red Heart yarn in the Mexicana colorway, and I just love the colors because it has the like there's like a seed coloring right here, and then like as it goes there's like there's not as much like dispersion of color, so it kind of just like all blends together real nicely. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So hopefully I can finish this. So this is probably my favorite project right now. And then moving on to the next works in progress is the second sock, which I've only gotten the cuff done so far, but I have to tear back part of a row because there is I kind of missed a stitch somewhere and I have to tear it back because the ribbing looks weird. So this is on my list of things to do in the near couple of coming weeks. So this is going to be an interesting sock, and this the yarn that I'm making the sock out of is the Heritage prints in the Spring Bouquet colorway, and I'm using a size 2 9-inch needle because I don't like doing, I haven't learned the magic loop or the 2 at a time, but I do plan on learning that sometime in the future. So that should be quite interesting. I've watched a few YouTube videos about knitting 2 socks at a time, and it makes a little bit of sense, but still kind of new to knitting socks. So I think it'll take me a while to get the hang of it and just to find like a good way of making the socks that really fits for me. So that might take a while, but it'll be a fun process, I think. Okay. And my next works in progress, I just found this sitting in my knitting bucket here at college, and it is a dishcloth. And I was actually thinking of making these for as a fundraiser for one of the groups that I am a part of here at college, because I have this conference coming up at the end of December, and it's all the way in New Orleans, so it's quite expensive, but I thought I could raise some money, but I don't know if I'm going to sell them or not. I don't know. I was going to talk to my mom about that and see what she had to say, so I don't know, but maybe. But I don't think they're quite good enough to sell yet, so hopefully I can just make them for my dorm room because I have to do dishes, and yeah, I need to have dishcloths. And I am sorry if you can hear construction workers, vacuuming, and people, because I live in a dorm and the walls are super thin and everything echoes and everything, so bear with me, as you can probably hear people. So I apologize many times for that. And I guess now that I have showed you my works in progress, I will go into my acquisitions, which this is not all of my acquisitions. There are some that are left at home. Actually, there's a lot left at home because my mom doesn't let me bring all of my yarn, but maybe it's a good thing. Okay, so my first acquisition is this bamboo spun yarn. It's I think it's 82% bamboo and 18% polyamide, and I was just at the craft store and I was like, oh, it's so soft. So I like bought it, and I don't know what I'm gonna make with this because I probably need to get more of it, but I just bought it on a whim because I'm like, oh, I like this yarn. So I think it might make a nice little fuzzy hat. And here in the Wisconsin winter, hats, mittens, anything that's warm is very essential in case you don't want to get frostbite. So this might be a nice hat, but I'm not sure yet. So I just love it. It's so soft, and it's got like little purples and greens. Oh, and I guess I should tell you the colorway. The colorway is citrusy, I think. I think that's what it is. I'll be posting this on Ravelry too, so then you can try to figure out what I was trying to say, because I'm not very good at pronouncing names that are very hard to say, so bear with me. And my next acquisition is this Hint of Silk yarn that I also got at the craft store. It was on sale, and I'm like, oh, it's so soft. I actually went to the craft store a day before I bought this, and I was like going through the aisles, like looking at all the yarn, and I'm like, oh, I love this yarn, it's so soft. But I didn't have enough money for it, so I was like, okay, I'll come back. And then I went back the next day, and they had put it on sale, so I'm like, oh, yes, I must buy it now. So, needless to say, I ended up buying it, and it is 85% bamboo and 15% silk, and the colorway is Shanghai. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. My friend said she wanted a blanket out of this little, because it's so soft, and I'm like, Carly, it's gonna stretch because it's got the silk in it, and I would have to buy a lot of these. So maybe it'll make a nice hat or something, a nice little Christmas colored hat or something. But this will probably be in my stash for a while because I like this yarn. And yeah, alright. And here is my last acquisition for today. It is also another yarn that I got at the craft store. It is the Lace Weight yarn by the Yarn Bee, and it is Lace Weight, which is this is my first thing of lace weight yarn. Sorry, I can't talk today. And I've seen people make shawls out of like lace weight, so I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to make a shawl. So I think that I'm gonna save this and make it for a really nice shawl. And I just love the colors. There's like purples, pinks, like a tan color, and then a little bit of red. So I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. And the colorway is Spring Blossoms, and this was also on sale. If you haven't noticed, I buy almost every yarn thing on sale because I am a poor college student and I have no money for anything. So when I like search on the internet for like yarn, I always go for like the discounted yarns and stuff like that. And I actually bought sorry, there's construction workers working on our building outside, so I apologize if you can hear a saw going. And I'll just wait. Okay, they're done. Okay, and oh, sorry if you can hear people screaming outside my door too, so not the best time to film, but it's the only time I had. So going backwards, and I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, being a poor college student, and I found on the internet a lot of people have mentioned in their podcast like using the Regia sock yarn, and I was searching around and I was just like looking at discounted yarns, and I found the Regia I think it's Regia Solids My First Sock yarn or something like that, and it was on sale, and I'm like, oh, I need that, because then it's like sock yarn, so I'm like, I can make socks, so it'll be encouraging to make a good pair of socks with that yarn. So I got it in, I think it is light pink, and they actually when I bought it, they only had 5 left, and I bought all 5 of them because I'm like, well, I'll just buy them all, they're not that expensive. So I bought them all, and they sent one of them, and then the others that I bought, because I bought it in 2 separate orders because I wasn't sure if I was going to buy all of them, and then I decided to after I'd submitted my first order. So they sent me an email saying that the other ones that I was ordering, that they were of a different dye, a dye lot, so they weren't sure if I wanted them or not. And I'm like, well, I mean, you only have 5 of them left, so of course I'm gonna buy them. I can like mix and match them and make a nice little striped sock thing or something, I don't know. Or just, I mean, they're socks, so I don't think it really matters what they really look like. I mean, as long as they fit and they're comfy, I don't care what color they are. And yeah, so I bought 5 things of that yarn, and of course I have more than enough yarn at home because I was given a giant basket full of yarn from someone, and that I have used a little bit of, but I'm still deciding what I want to do with all of it because there's like so many different colors. It's like cotton yarn, like some really, like, I think it's lace weight or fingering weight, I'm not sure, and a whole bunch of other stuff, and a bunch of like the acrylic yarn and stuff like that. So, oh, and also like I haven't tried any of the like the fancy little fibers of yarn, because I am a poor college student, so I can only afford like the acrylic stuff or like the stuff that you have at craft stores. So I'll wait till I'm out of college or have a decent paying job that can support my knitting fun and yarn buying. So yeah, so yep, so that'll probably have to wait until I have a better paying job, or like stuff that my mom gets me for my birthday, Christmas, or any other holiday. So yeah, that's basically my yarn buying in a nutshell. So I guess now that I've gone on about my acquisitions, works in progress, and my one finished object, I guess I can wrap this up, I guess, because I've been going on for about 20 minutes, so that's pretty good for a first podcast, I think. So I thank you all for watching, and I will try to film every week, but I may not be able to film every week on Thursdays, so it might be a Wednesday, it might be any other day of the week, because college keeps me very busy because I have a bunch of classes, and oh, I guess I completely forgot to mention, here at college they have, I just found out about this like over the summer, so they have a knitting group that actually, excuse me, that actually meets on Thursdays, which is today, and yeah, they, like, I haven't been to a meeting because they had their first meeting last week, but I kind of injured my finger a little bit making name tags, so I kind of didn't want to go because it was still like healing. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to like rip it open anymore. So I just kind of took that day off and just didn't go. So today will be the first meeting that I will be able to attend. So I'm like really excited, and just to see like what other people are making, and just make some more friends that share my love of knitting. So yeah, and I guess that's about all that I have for today. Oh, and I completely forgot to say what day it was today. Bear with me, I am so sorry. It is Thursday, September 17th, 2015, and yes, bear with me, I am very scatterbrained, and this is my first podcast, so I'm still getting the hang of things, so bear with me, thank you. So I guess places where you can find me are Instagram, which is Little HK Knits, and on YouTube is also Little HK Knits, and on Ravelry, Knitting by Hilary. And yes, I thank you all so very much for watching and making me feel welcome in the knitting podcast world. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you again next week. So thank you, and have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. Thank you. and happy knitting.